The very first night out into the wild, it starts pouring rain through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Elisa, and this is Chris. We both relocated to Barcelona, where we met. Together, we renovated our RV for full-time living and travel around Spain.
We wanted to do van life because we wanted to stop paying really expensive rent in Barcelona, and we wanted to live mortgage-free.
Ultimately, this would allow us to work less hours, so we had a little bit more freedom and could spend time on things that were really meaningful to us. After some pretty scary illness from burnout, I decided to quit my full-time job to try to heal for a bit and sort out kind of what the next chapter looked like. We'd both been living in Spain for several years prior to deciding to downsize, and we'd been planning for about 2 years, just being really kind of detailed and taking it step by step, from downsizing our closets to ultimately selling all our things. Eventually found our current tiny home.
Actually able to buy this van outright for around about 20,000 euros. And on top of that, we added some new solar, we added a new battery. Also, we furnished the inside to make it feel like home. And that was probably an extra 3,000.
As far as monthly expenses, we tend to aim between 900 and 1,200 euro each month, and that includes all of our joint fees. So any sort of upkeep with the RV, any campground fees we may have. This includes gas, our Wi-Fi, just kind of our daily living expenses. Restaurants or fun, any travel expenses outside of that tends to come out of our individual pockets.
The day we were able to pick her up was the start of lockdown. We managed to get everything into the RV within an hour and get out of town before they put down the borders.
Yeah.
Because it was lockdown, we weren't supposed to be crossing borders. We ended up finding a campground. We kind of were able to make it home for the next few months.
Watched a lot of things on YouTube, unscrewing things and seeing what's behind, getting comfortable with it.
It was really just kind of throwing ourselves in and giving us an opportunity to learn on the fly. A big kind of motivator for going into this lifestyle was to kind of get back to, what people often call that oneness. It also just gave us opportunities to build a life that felt more meaningful to us and spend our really precious time on things that we really cared about. We only kept things that were very important. They are both beautiful, functional, and meaningful. It's not hard to be working one moment, letting the dog out and kind of walking into the hills the next, or being on the beach.
We've stayed in places where 10 feet away from the sea, so you go to bed with the crashing waves, you wake up with that in the morning. Just that sense of one step to the outdoors.
The two things that we have to consider every single day are our basic needs, like water, our gas levels, that kind of thing.
The least glamorous things about van life are probably pretty predictable. You are more in charge of basic functions than you would be in a modern kind of lifestyle. We have to be very cognizant of how much water we're using, which we actually feel really responsible for. It's a great way to be gentler on the earth, being responsible for our own waste, going to the bathroom, where are we going to dump that safely? We usually only make it about 2 to 3 days without having to deal with that. Every time you move, you have to kind of sort out the basic things that you need in life. Where is the water? Where am I going to go to the bathroom? Where do I get my food from? Where's safe?
I think just being in a van, you feel more vulnerable. One very small door, one very small window, everything is street level. Part of it is the research up front, understanding where you're going to go and looking at reviews. Is this place safe?
For all the difficulties of first getting into the van life and the hurdles that we had along the way, nature has really provided beautiful benefits and really kind of rewarded us for all that work.
Makes it all worthwhile.
So as far as any regrets or anything, we've thought about this, and no. Even after a DIY project where we do our bed nook kind of above the cab, we painted it, got new sheets, the whole bit, and the very first night out into the wild, it starts pouring rain through the ceiling.
Yeah, even then. Before we actually moved into the RV, we wanted to buy some land and build a tiny house somewhere in Catalonia in northeast Spain. We thought actually maybe it makes more sense to buy an RV, live in that for a short time, and use this as a way to test out different plots of land. Just get a feel for the place before we actually spend a lot of money and commit to somewhere.
We'd love to build kind of a rental property that we can then share this kind of same mentality of slow living, getting a little bit closer to nature, taking a break with other people, and really give people an opportunity to enjoy it too.
Thank you so much for tagging along on our tiny Spanish adventure. If you'd like more stories like these, don't forget to subscribe to Bustle. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about life abroad and slow living in Spain, you can find my YouTube channel below.